Hi everybody, I'm Peter from Ava's Wild, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a spicy teriyaki glazed salmon skewer. So we're going to get to it. We're going to turn on this burner right here. In this pot, I'm going to add a little bit of sesame oil. All right. Some chopped garlic, chop really fine because we want the sharpness. If you don't chop the garlic so fine, it'll have more of a nutty flavor. So remember that for all your recipes. So get that garlic in there. Finely chopped ginger, same thing. The finer you chop it, the sharper the flavor. So we're going for real intense flavor for this one. The whites of some green onions, sliced very thin. And one very small Thai chili. You know, sometimes you can find these in the grocery store. If you want to, you can substitute a serrano. Last resort, you can do a jalapeno, but you'll always find these in your Asian supermarket. So get those in there. All right, so we're gonna let those sweat just a little bit, all right? We're gonna watch those closely. Okay, they look pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. Brown sugar is great. It adds to the body. It's gonna give you that thick, glazy kind of sauce you're looking for. All right, so I'm letting that brown sugar melt a little bit. It's starting to swirl around the pan a little bit. It's looking pretty good. Next thing we're gonna add mirin. Mirin is cooking wine. You can also use a seasoned rice wine vinegar or rice wine vinegar, and then you'll have to add a little more sugar, but I would go with mirin if you can. All right, and then last thing we're gonna add is tamari. You can also use soy sauce, you can use shoyu, you can use lots of things. I use tamari because it's gluten-free, and everybody seems to be gluten-free these days. All right, so all that is in there, and it's working. So the next thing we're gonna make the salmon skewers. So right here, I have cut a piece of salmon into 2-ounce pieces. They're about as big as a long finger, all right? So we're gonna line these up right here with the thin side facing towards me, okay? So these are about 2 ounces each, so that's gonna be 1 pound of salmon, all right? And 1 pound of salmon is gonna get you 8 really nice portions. All right, so we have all that together. It's looking good. All right, so right here, I have my skewers. My skewers have been soaking in water for about an hour. So this is gonna do a couple things. The skewers, it is gonna keep them burning, and it's also gonna keep them from shredding and giving you a really bad bamboo sliver up your hand. All right, so here we go. You wanna make sure your salmon piece is nice and straight. Run it up the back. You can even fold in that last little piece, all right? And push it forward. All right, there we go. We're gonna keep going. Do all these guys. Check on my sauce right here. That's simmering nicely, so we're good to go. Now we have all those. Right here, I have a little sheet pan. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of this sesame oil on there, and I'm gonna spread it around right where the salmon is gonna be sitting, all right? So we're gonna do this. All right, there we go. Then I'm gonna take another piece of tin foil, and I'm gonna fold it over these skewers because we're gonna be cooking this under a broiler, all right? And if you put them under the broiler and they sit there too long, they'll burn. You pick up the stick, it breaks, you don't want that. The sauce is just about ready. So here's a little chef trick for you. You've heard of a double boiler. This is gonna be a double cooler. I want the sauce to cool super fast so that it's nice and brushable to go on the salmon, right? So I've taken a nice glass bowl, I put half ice, half water in there, and I've let it sit for a couple minutes so this glass is chilled. I'm watching my sauce over here. It's reduced a lot, so the bubbles have started to stack and the sauce is starting to rise. So that's saying to me, caramelization is starting and the sauce is about ready. So I'm watching it, and I'm gonna call it good. All right, so we're gonna pour this in here. Now, I'm gonna turn the oven on broil. We're gonna let that heat up for a few minutes. This sauce is gonna get cooled down, and then I'm gonna show you how to brush it on and finish it in the oven. So we'll be right back. All right, so while you're away, I cleaned up a little bit, and I got out a watermelon radish. We're gonna use this for garnish. I'll show you what's up with that. And then also I have the green tops of the green onion, the scallion, in some water. This changes their shape a little bit. It makes them go a little funky, really cool for garnish. All right, so like I said, we're gonna cool down that sauce, all right? And you can see it's gotten a lot thicker. You know, once you cool it down, it thickens up. And what's great about that is, you know, you don't want to put hot sauce on your salmon until it's already cooked. You know, that's the way it doesn't damage the salmon before it goes in the oven. So I'm going to brush these a couple times with this sauce with a nice pastry brush, or this is actually a barbecue brush. All right. And I'm going to be very liberal with the sauce. You know, don't be afraid to let some of the chunks of the garlic and the ginger and the green onion fall right on here. All right, so I have the broiler heated. It's on high. The rack is very close. It's right on the top level. All right, so I'm gonna throw these in there. This is only gonna take a couple minutes. So while these are cooking, I'm gonna show you how to do the garnish. Watermelon radish. So this is a really cool radish. It's kind of white and green on the outside. I prefer to peel it because the outside sometimes can be bitter. All right, so I have a little pile here, but I have my Japanese mandolin set so it's very, very thin. All right, and I do a couple slices and then I turn it. Okay, 2 slices, turn. 2 slices, turn. All right, so what this is gonna do, it's gonna keep your radish from ending up being all cockeyed by the end. You know, you get a lot more pieces out of it if you turn it each time. It keeps it straight. All right, so we're just going to kind of bunch these up a little bit on the platter. All right, so this is gonna raise the salmon up off the plate. It's gonna absorb some of that sauce and a little bit of the oil that's gonna come off of them. You want that. And the red in the background just looks super cool. All right, so might as well use them all. I think they kind of look like rose petals. All right, so that's done and that's done. So we might as well put a couple of the green onions down on here. All right, now some of the other cool garnishes you can use for this, you can pickle black mustard seeds, you can use toasted sesame seeds, you know, anything colorful that you want, a little bit of crunchy, you know, fried shallots, anything like that. Anything is game. All right, so let's check on these salmon skewers. All right, so that's how fast those go. Just a couple minutes in there. All right, we're gonna brush them a couple more times. Move this salmon, move this foil, I mean. We'll turn these one more time. Okay. A few more brushes. Try to get some of that glazy effect on there. All right, gonna go back in there for one more minute. So just for a second, I'm gonna tell you about how I cut the salmon. So Avis Wild, their salmon comes in a whole fillet, right? And they're usually about 1.5 pounds. So I skinned it and then I cut it right in the middle, and then I used the tail end for skewers, and then the head end of it is what I'm going to use for my next recipe, which is going to be a Gruyere and panko crusted salmon with pan roasted Brussels sprouts, a little bit of lemon. So watch for that for your next video. So those look pretty great. All right, so we're going to go like this. Sop up a little more sauce on there. All right, almost done. And we'll save these last 2 off the plate for me. All right, and then we're gonna give some of these green onions over the top. And maybe a little drizzle of sauce. All right, there you go. Teriyaki broiled salmon skewers with watermelon radish and green onion. So go to aviswild.com. You can check out all of our videos, our recipes, and a lot of them even have step-by-step instructions with pictures so you can follow along and do this at home. So go check it out.